Welcome back to Making Men Academy. I am your host, Isaiah Keene, and today, in today's video, I want to talk about something that's really fun, simple, and powerful. Because I love simple, I love powerful, I love quick, easy, and to the point. So, let's talk about this today. We're going to talk about something that I find very, very refreshing, relieving, and is like, oh, this is so wonderful. I can just live my life because I got this. It's covered because of this one thing. And I don't have to worry because so many of us spend so much of our time obsessing over our image, right? Our self-image, our image of what other people think about us more specifically. We spend so much time doing that. I know for me, my personality type, my strengths, my weaknesses, the type of person that God made me to be, that's one of the things that can get to me sometimes. And so I have to watch that for myself and just be like, okay. And so that's why this is so prevalent in my mind. And so today we're going to talk about embracing your strengths for yourself because honestly, it's so much easier when you just live life the way you were meant to live it instead of trying to put yourself into a box. Let me ask you this question. What is your shorts feed, like YouTube shorts, Instagram shorts, your TikTok stuff? What is it filled with? It's probably it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be great stuff. It could be terrible stuff. Or it could be the kind of stuff that mine is usually filled with, where it's like the motivational, confidence, those kinds of things like entrepreneur, businessman, the alpha male, the sigma male, those kinds of things. And personally, I've grown up in those fields and in that realm. That's something that is very important to me as a person. And so I want to be the kind of person who is top of their game. That is important to me. But also, I need to be careful then to not let that overcome me and become me. Because let's be honest, how many of the self-help videos, the confidence videos, the tips, the tricks videos, just like this one, have you watched before where maybe they're Christian, maybe they're not, but it's like, do these things, get the girl this way, dress like this, act like this, these traits, this, that. I talk about a lot of these things too, but the difference is that I want to teach you how to do this from a normal, neutral, sane standpoint instead of this I'm the big dominant alpha male. Because I'm young. What do I know, right? I know a lot. I've been through a lot. I know a lot. But also, I have more to learn and I have a life to live the way that God designed me to live it. So, God gave us all unique strengths. Psalm 139 verse 14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully, wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Here's the thing. How many kids these days also are trying to get into the transgender stuff? There's so much confusion in our modern culture because we all are trying to do this thing where we're trying to find our own identities. We're trying to find the things that give us meaning and provide us value and give us a reason for being. But the problem is we're all missing it. We're all missing because God already said all of that stuff. If you go read the Bible and just read it for what it is, you find everything you ever need to know about all of life. All of life's questions are answered in the Bible. It's that simple. And so for us, especially as Christians, we don't need to always be focusing on these YouTube videos, these Instagram shorts, these YouTube reels. I said those backwards. We don't need to be focusing on this kind of stuff because it's good to have in our feeds. It's good to be mindful of these things, but they do not define us. And so instead, here's a cool thing about me actually. I have, because I'm a guy, one of the rarest personality traits for a guy to have, right? One of the rarest personality types. And that's because a lot of the traits that I have would be considered on the scale of personality types and tests and whatever, more feminine. And so I have this more feminine kind of thing, but you'd never know that just talking to me. But it gives me, and it's not like I'm a girl or anything weird like that, but it gives me the ability to have conversations and to do things that other guys don't normally do because it just doesn't come naturally to them like it comes naturally to me. Now, I could say, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I want to be this big, dominant, strong alpha male, yada, yada, yada. And there are times when I'm serious, dead on, do not mess with me. And I've had to pull that sometimes. And even in situations where it's this could be potentially threatening, things like that. And so I have both of those sides to me, but because I know my strengths and weaknesses, I know that I can sometimes be really intense, bold, like I go for what I want and I defend, and I have that, like Jordan Peterson talks about, that ability to have that aggressiveness and assertiveness. But I also know that God made me to be funny. He made me to be interactive. He made me to be an extrovert who is kind and cares for people. And that's something that's always been very prevalent in my life, is that I have a lot of care for people beyond what other people have. I had a conversation with a guy once, and he said that his primary struggle was apathy, and he wanted to be more empathetic towards people. That's one of those things that I've never really struggled with. In fact, it's been the opposite for me. And so I know, because of the way that God made me, I have the ability to lead in a way that is caring for individual people. I don't have to see that as a weakness, as, oh, I'm not masculine enough. I see that as a strength. I am masculine, and I have this ability that not all other guys, in fact, few guys actually have, which gives me an edge. It gives me a step up. And so I can take that and turn around and say, here you go, guys. I've learned this about myself. I know this about myself, and I know this truth that's coming from God himself. And so now I can teach you guys how to do similar things to that, how to embrace your own strengths, how to embrace your own weaknesses even, because strengths and weaknesses go hand in hand. We need to know both so that we can work on building both and repairing both. Hey, by the way, guys, I want to tell you real quick that I created a free PDF for you about 3 core traits to help you attract your dream girl. We're guys of God, and we want girls of God too, right? So by working on yourself with these 3 things that are super important, I've found and used them in relationships already, and I know it works, you too can attract the kind of girl you want from the God that you love. So go check that out, and now let's get back to the video. And the beauty of this is that there's no pressure. We live in a state of gradual sanctification from the moment we come to Christ until the day we die, where every single day he's working on us in our hearts, if we allow him to, in our hearts and in our lives, to become more like him. And then we die and we're made perfect. And that is the joy and the beauty of Christ and of the gospel. But for now, we have to understand ourselves, and understanding and embracing our strengths is the place to begin. When we understand and embrace our strengths, things go so much better for us, because, who doesn't want to know their strengths and embrace them and be the person that they're made to be to their fullest potential? That to me is beautiful and amazing. And I want to start assembling groups of guys, a large group of guys who are doing this, who want these kinds of things. So stay tuned if you would like to know more about that, because I have something big coming for next year that I cannot wait to announce and unveil. So subscribe if you want to see that, but let's just finish this out real quick. We have to embrace our strengths because they were given to you and only you. You have to embrace your strengths because I don't have your strengths. I'm not you. God didn't make me to be like you. He made you, and you are the one that's going to bring your unique individual talents and powerfulness to the world in a way that I can never do. I have my own set of skills, but I don't have your skills, and your skills might be my weaknesses, and so we can balance each other out in that way, which just makes it even more amazing. And so we just need to focus on embracing our strengths, learning about ourselves, and constantly reminding ourselves that we don't have to be what we're seeing online, what we're taught to be, and the type of media that we're consuming. It's good to understand those things and to also understand ourselves and what the Bible says about us. Because when we understand those 3 things, we can create a balance between the 3 of them, and we can say, I know who I am, I know what the Bible says about me, and I know where I can improve and continue working on myself. And that is just the journey of life. It's improving ourselves, it's seeking Christ every single day, and inspiring others through those strengths and through the things we know we were made to do, to bring other people to Christ as well. Because that's it. It's so simple. And so when we do that, we end up fulfilling our calling and our purpose by embracing our strengths, not letting all the social media, all the things that are out there floating around in the internet get to our heads, and we can have peace and mental clarity. I made an episode not that long ago about masculine mental space, and this is the exact same thing that I was talking about, very similar at least. So embrace your strengths, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.